The young man instantly saw that the peach artifact tossed in the corner was valuable, but instead he paid a high price for the most worthless fake on the stall. To avoid drawing attention, he asked the seller to throw in the peach for free. Other sellers watching advised him, saying everything there was fake, but they had no idea. The young man did it all on purpose. While everyone laughed at him for being scammed, a beautiful woman suddenly ran over, offering a sky-high price for the peach in his hand. The crowd was stunned. Turns out the young man was the disciple of a master appraiser, gifted with the ability to see the truth of antiques. He had come down the mountain to find his long-lost fiancée and fulfill their childhood engagement. But, unexpectedly, he ran into his sister-in-law instead. When he showed his token, he realized she was actually the fiancée. Yet he kept the truth about the jade pendant to himself. The woman saw that he had completed his training and invited him to stay and help at her shop for a while. But the current apprentice felt it was reckless to let an outsider handle appraisals. So to prove his skill, the young man suggested a challenge. The woman agreed and told both of them to each pick one item from the shop and see whose was more valuable. The young man let the apprentice choose first to avoid any excuses later. The apprentice was full of confidence since he knew every item in the store. He picked a sandalwood guanine statue without hesitation. The woman praised him, saying his time in the shop had paid off. But the young man saw that, although the statue was pretty, it lacked the craftsmanship of a true master, so it had no real highlights. Then in just 3 seconds, he picked a nearby abacus, saying it wasn't just good, but worth more than the statue. The apprentice was in disbelief. The woman examined it closely and realized the young man was right. The apprentice tried to argue, saying the abacus was just a store tool, not an antique. But the woman had already seen his talent and offered him a job with a salary of $100,000 a month. The young man declined, saying he owed her his life and helping her was only right. The woman smiled at his words. Then the young man said he had 2 things to remind her of. First, he noticed a rosy glow on her face and said she might soon encounter romance. This made the woman instantly think of someone. Next, he asked why the shop was so empty. Turns out a few months ago, 2 appraisal mistakes ruined the shop's reputation. But he found it strange that even casual inquiries had disappeared. He suspected rival interference until he saw 3 mirrors hanging at the door. He explained that 1 mirror wards off evil, but 3 destroy feng shui. The woman wanted to confront someone, but he stopped her, saying someone was clearly behind it, and she shouldn't act rashly. She calmed down and thought it through, realizing it was the work of her business rival, who had tried to forcefully buy her treasure, and she refused to sell. After learning everything, the young man agreed to help her. The woman worried for his safety and asked him not to act on impulse. Instead, she sent him to buy a birthday gift, so he went to the street, planning to buy a real treasure for cheap. But the first vendor grabbed him, claiming to have just unearthed artifacts. He knew such things were worth millions and wouldn't be displayed so casually, so he walked away. Just then, a neighboring vendor tried to sell him obvious fakes, but the young man quickly spotted that the peach beside them was real, so he pretended to ask about the fake, instantly drawing attention from nearby sellers. Then he bargained the price down to $2,000. The vendor thought he got a great deal and gladly sold everything to him. As the young man was about to leave, a beautiful woman rushed over, offered $30,000